Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi everyone. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulina sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. So we have, mashallah, Dr. Ruqayya and her husband, Brother Abdul Samad, as well as Nabila, who live right around the corner. They're our neighbors, mashallah. So alhamdulillah, it's such an honor to that they have agreed to present to us. I do want everybody on the other side to mute themselves. So please make sure that you are muted on the other side, and so that we can learn from Dr. Rukayya, who moved a little over a year ago, so about Ghana. And I know that this is Black History Month. You know, it's just an opportunity for us to, I'm not sure how I feel about such a month because we don't think in terms of that way, but alhamdulillah, it's an opportunity for us to study and learn about the diversity, how Allah Ta'ala describes diversity in a very unique way in Surah Ar-Rum. Allah Ta'ala asks us to contemplate on the heavens and the earth, and then Allah Ta'ala directs our attention to the different dialects and tongues and colors and languages, and how these are signs of Allah. So we embrace diversity, not just in the way that it is done in this country, but we see our diversity as a sign of Allah's majesty and magnificence, and a sign that Allah Ta'ala directs us to. That's a very different way of looking at diversity, that this is one of the signs of Allah. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِلْعَالَمِينَ. That these are the ayahs, that the differences of the tongue and the colors and the dialects are a sign of Allah's magnificence and bounty. So please frame it from this perspective, inshallah, so that we can learn from Dr. Ruqayya. And Dr. Ruqayya, could you please proceed?
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Can you all hear me?
I asked them to, yep, they definitely can.
Okay.
I asked them to mute themselves, so they probably are muted right now. So
okay. All right. Thank you so much for having me. I'm here with my husband, Abdul Samad, and my daughter, Nina. So thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Dr. Ali called us last night to invite us to this and recommended that I talk about, you know, how it was growing up Muslim, being a pediatrician. So I came up with this today. So hopefully we all can learn from this. So I am a pediatrician. I've been a pediatrician for in this country for about 8 to 10 years now. I currently work at Springfield Clinic. We've been in Springfield for the past year. We've lived in the US for about 10 to 15 years. We lived in New Jersey, lived in Champaign, and we've been here for a year. And inshallah, we are hoping this will be home for us, inshallah. So I won't waste your time. I'll just go ahead and start. Nina will be my slide. She'll change my slides for me. So I don't know if you all have heard of Ghana. So Ghana is a small country in West Africa. It's on the western coast of Africa. So you can see from the map right here. So this is us right here. We are bordered by Burkina Faso to the north, Benin, Togo, Nigeria to this side, and there's Cote d'Ivoire, and there's the Atlantic Ocean right here. So we're a very small country in West Africa. Surrounding us, there's a lot of countries, and you can see up here on the north, there's North Africa right here. And then on the east, the northeastern side, you can see the Middle East. This is the purple shade right here. There's still North Africa right here to the north, and then this is all southern and central and eastern Africa. So we're right here on the west. This west part of Africa, there's been Islam and Muslims in West Africa since the 8th century. And in Ghana, most of the data says that we've been Muslim. There's been Muslims in Ghana since the 15th century. And I will show you a mosque here very soon of a mosque that was built in the 15th century right here in Ghana. I'll let Nina move the slide for me. All right, so I've talked about, you know, the origins of Islam in Ghana. As you could tell from the map, go back to the map. So the Middle East and the Arabs from the Middle East up here on the north, They traded with the North Africans all the way to the west with the nomadic tribes back then. And somehow they passed on the religion. And in my family, we've been Muslims for generations, as far as, whenever. We've always been Muslim. And that was through the trade along the northern part with the Middle Eastern Arabs. So Ghana's population, Ghana has about 25 million people. Like I said, we're really small. Of this, they say that only 18% is Muslim, which, this is disputed. A lot of Muslims think that it's about 20 to 30% rather than 18%. But officially, as of 2017, we are only 18% of the population. Depending on what part of the country you are, it could be 80% Muslim, or 20% or 5%. And I grew up in a part that was 5 to 10% Muslim. So you can see from this table right here, so these are the northernmost parts of the country where most of the Muslims are. So this is like 80%, 40%, 45%. And as you trickle down, there's only few towards the coast. There's very few Muslims. And I grew up in the West. My parents live I grew up in the West and Greater Accra. My parents, this is the capital. This is where my parents live now. I went to school here. So most of my growing up was in this part where there weren't that many Muslims. So, another map showing, so you can see this is all the way towards the coast. This is where I grew up. This is the north. This is where most of the Muslims are. But there's a Muslim in every part of Ghana. Okay, so how was it like to grow up as a minority in a non-majority Muslim country? It was hard, it still is hard. I always tell Nina that growing up is similar to how she grew up, how she's growing up here. We were always often the only Muslims in our community, the only Muslim in our school, or just a handful of Muslims. In my medical school class of 138 students, there were only 2 Muslims, me and another Muslim. That was it, 2. And that wasn't because we couldn't do it. There was a lot of discrimination just to get there. For a long time, there wasn't any national holiday for Eid, but up until 10 years ago now, Eid is a national holiday. Most of us go to boarding school in high school, and you couldn't even wake up to eat Ramadan. You had to hide in the dark to eat. Some schools didn't let people do salat, but we still came together. We fought it, we prayed, we did what we had to do. We had to read the Bible and sing in church. Just like, the little kids here have to sing the chorus at school. So a lot of it was hard, but, it wasn't all bad. There were Islamic schools and Arabic schools across the country. Almost every big town had a Muslim or Islamic school. The education wasn't that great. If you wanted to become a doctor, you couldn't go to those schools, so you had to join the others. But it's not all bad. Every Ghanaian has to learn about Islam in school. So there's no Ghanaian that doesn't know about Islam. They know about our holidays. We share food, during Christmas, they'll give us food. During Ramadan or Eid, all the Eids will give them food. So we live very well together, but as a minority population for sure. All right, so how did we manage to, remain Muslim in the face of all these odds? Our parents made sure that we prayed Salat. It didn't matter whether you had an exam at school or whatever it was. Eid was Eid. We celebrated Eid. We read the Quran. We had private tutors for Islam, and during holidays, summer breaks, we went to Islamic school. So we made it work. And the Shahada, in reading, you had to understand that the Shahada is the true, I'm sure we all know what the Shahada is, the belief that Allah is the only one and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger. And I read the Bible. I had to read the Bible and sing those songs. And to be honest, the doctrine of Trinity just didn't make sense to me. So, it had to be Islam. Like I said, we've been here over a decade. It's the same, similar, not the same, but similar. As a Black African Muslim, sometimes it's harder. It's harder here to find a community, because I feel like having a community in Ghana is what helped us remain Muslim and continue to be Muslim and strengthen our faith. And sometimes that can be hard when you don't have people among you that are like you. So that was the Islam part. How did I become a pediatrician? Brother Ali wanted me to talk about that, so I'm going to talk a little bit about it. My dad, whom you will see very soon, I have a few pictures here to share. He was very encouraging. He really encouraged, people would say that, oh, if you were a woman and you became a doctor, you couldn't find a husband, all kinds of things, and he didn't believe in any of that. If you were smart and you could become a doctor, you were going to become a doctor if you wanted to. I was curious. I like knowing how the body worked. So, I took that on, studied how the body works, became a pediatrician from that. Lots and lots of reading and studying, lots of hard work, lots of sleepless nights. I like working with children and helping families. And, I'm happy that I found something to do that I actually like. So, yeah. So that's my journey in short. Again, on that whole spectrum of, whoever wants to become a pediatrician or encouraging a child to become a pediatrician, definitely they have to study hard, get good grades. In the US, you have to also volunteer, show an interest. I think you have to be interested. Something about it has to interest you. You don't just do it because your parent wants you to do it. And if there's a child that wants to do it, definitely encouraging, them to do it for sure. Without my dad, I wouldn't have become a pediatrician because I would have listened to everybody else that was saying not to do it. All right, so I just kept it short and sweet. This is us. This is our little family right here. This is my dad when he was young. These are my sisters. This was in Ghana on one Eid. Keep going. That's my dad and my mom now. My mom was here last 2 years ago in the spring. Hopefully they'll come visit again. This is us. We've done a lot of COVID Eids, so we haven't been able to mingle. This is one of the Eids here in this house with our little cat here. This is, so like I said, there's a lot of African Muslims. So this was our African community, the Muslims in New Jersey. So one Eid, all the Africans at the mosque, we decided to take a picture. So this was in Palmyra, New Jersey, in South Jersey. Keep going. This is us in DeKalb. We visited friends. One of our friends is a professor at NYU. So this was a family. I think they are from Sierra Leone, also from West Africa, Ghanaian. And that was us over there. These are from Virginia. This is actually family. This is Samet's cousin and his family. This is my family in Ghana, my dad and parents, my brother and his wife. I have lots, I don't have all the pictures, but these are some of the pictures of people actually practicing Islam in Ghana. This was Africa Day, so my little nephew and niece. So like I said, Ghana, I mean, everybody knows about Islam. You cannot live there, when Eid happens, we all celebrate. So you can see, this is a commercial, with Eid. They're showing Eid. Usually we make like a tomato sauce with either beef or goat or lamb. This is what we eat. We eat rice and stew for Eid with lamb. And the Christians love it. They're like, I want Eid food. When it's Eid, we all celebrate, we all share, we eat. This is our national imam. Like I said, things have gotten better. This is our national imam, Sheikh Shaributu. He's been there forever. He's over 100 years old. He gets invited to, to make policy with the government. He has an official table, an official seat, as a policy contributor. So yes, Ghana definitely we've come a long way. Like I said, Eid is a national holiday. This is the Independence Square. This is where they swear in the presidents. This is where everything that happens. This is where we pray as a nation on Eid. The president comes over. The current vice president is Muslim, so there are speeches. It's a big deal. Eid is a big deal, in Ghana right now. Despite the fact that we are a minority, things are better for sure. I said I will show you the mosque. This is a mosque from the 15th century, and this is how far we've been Muslim, you know, and this mosque is still there. It's a tourist attraction. If any of you ever go to Ghana, you can go there. You can see this mosque that has been there since the 15th century, showing how far we've been Muslim. So these are my references. And if you have any questions, comments, this is it. Thank you. Stop.
Jazakallah khair. That's such a beautiful presentation, Dr. Ruqayya. Thank you so much. It's amazing how your journey is sort of similar to ours, because when we first moved from India in 1977, we actually were in a school in Chicago, and we were too small. I was very young, and we used to get beaten up a lot by the other kids. So my dad said, this is not a safe place, so let's go to the suburbs. So the place that we moved to was LaGrange, and in LaGrange, we had to attend a Catholic school, St. Cletus and St. Hugh's. And in the Catholic school, we had to attend Mass. And my dad said, you know, you can attend Mass, but, you know, just make sure you sit in the back and recite Surah Ikhlas the whole time. And but we were required, because we attended a Catholic school. And regarding NIU, Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, two of my brothers graduated from there, and we used to go and pray the Jummah prayer. Basically at that time it was a house. Now I think they made it to a nice masjid in DeKalb. And then I lived in New York for a long time. I used to go to all of the different masajids in New York and New Jersey. And then after that, I moved to Virginia, where I taught at a small college in Virginia. It's crazy how some of what you said completely resonated with me. It's really awesome. That's so beautiful. So how are the relationship like between Christians and Muslims in Ghana? Is there a lot of tension, or there's a lot of coexistence and tolerance and mutual understanding?
There's definitely mutual understanding, good coexistence. We live well together. I feel like now it's even hard for a political party to not fill the Muslim candidate. That's how, you know, that's how good we live together. We often shared apartments with Christians. We went to school with Christians, so we live cordially together.
Right.
Although under all that, there's still underlying tensions. You know, there's definitely discrimination. Anytime there's a minority, you know, it's just the way it is. It's just human nature. But there are actually interfaith marriages.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So,
wow.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. That's amazing. There are certain places that are so good when it comes to the coexistence of. I think Mali is also another good example. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Obama, the first country that he visited was Mali, because of the Christian-Muslim relations, the nice understanding across faiths in Mali. I believe that was one of the first countries he visited.
Ghana has more Christian. Mali is more of a Muslim country.
Correct.
Than Ghana is. Yeah.
Correct. Oh, I see. Wonderful. How about so other students, other kids, do they have any questions for Dr. Ruqayya?
I have a question.
Yes, please, sweetie.
Hi.
Hello. So my question was, how did you feel when you were growing up in Africa? Like, how did you feel when you were like a Muslim in Africa?
I love being a Muslim. It was nice to learn about Islam. It was inspiring to read all the Islamic stories in the Quran. You know, it wasn't something relatable because that wasn't my life, but it was just it was interesting, and it was inspiring. And I credit my parents for making us do salat even when we didn't want to, for making sure that we always had Islamic studies. Always, it didn't matter whether we had a test or not. You had to learn Islam. Yeah.
sometimes it's easier to practice Islam when you're in the minority. I mean, in our town in Hyderabad, 90% of the people in the area are Muslims. They're all Muslims. And so you go through, my dad said that he went through the motions of the prayer and all of those other things. And of course, they would just simply read the Quran without trying to understanding the Quran. Only when he came to America, and at that time there was hardly any Muslims, somebody introduced him to this book, which he found fascinating. It was Sahih al-Bukhari. He had never heard of Sahih al-Bukhari, ever, in India. So people sort of just read the Quran just for the barakah of reading the Quran, but they don't try to understand it because they're in a majority Muslim area. Sometimes it's just easier because you really get to understand the authentic teachings when you're sort of isolated from that culture, and you're in a minority.
That is true, actually. When I went to college, especially, because you face so much opposition. You're a minority. At some point, you're like, am I actually on the right path?
Sure.
And then because of that desire to convince yourself that this is it, even though that everybody around me is Muslim, this is what I should be doing. So you are definitely inspired to want to read and understand and, and get a good understanding of the religion. So yes, that's true.
MashaAllah. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Other questions for Dr. Rukayya?
When you were growing up, did you always know that you wanted to be a doctor, or did you have like other careers in mind too?
No, I didn't always know that I wanted to be a doctor. I like science. I liked reading. I actually liked writing. I thought I would be like a history professor and a writer. But I did like science more. So that came at the end of high school. I had to choose something, so then I chose to focus on science and, go to college and study to become a doctor. No. So it's okay for all the people who don't know, including my daughter. You might not know that you want to be a doctor, and that's fine. Just keep up with those grades. Make sure you're getting all the A's, get into the honors classes, work hard. At some point, inshallah, you will know.
Wonderful advice. That's so beautiful. It's exactly what I tell the kids right now. Even Burhan, who's a freshman in college, he's not sure what to do. And I told him, whatever you're passionate about, do that which you are most passionate about. So I told him to explore by taking classes that he might enjoy. So sometimes he says law. So I told him, take courses in legal studies or criminal justice to see if this is your passion. Then sometimes he says ophthalmology. I said, okay, well, then take a course on medicine, like biology, to see if this is what your passion is. So whatever you truly, truly enjoy, whatever you're passionate about. And the other thing that is so important that I tell the parents is that there is nothing more powerful than the dua of the parents. And the Prophet ﷺ said that the dua of the parents for their child, that Allah Ta'ala puts them on the right path, that is so powerful. And the parents need to continue to do dua that Allah Ta'ala put their kids in a path that will enable them to serve this deen in whatever capacity, that Allah Ta'ala uses them in the best way that pleases Allah. And that dua of the parents is so powerful. But yeah, otherwise just leave it up to the kids, so yeah, alhamdulillah. Other questions for Dr. Rukayya? We still have a couple of minutes.
Did you feel sad leaving Africa?
Did I feel sad? Yes, for sure. I miss all my family. I have 9 nephews and nieces right now that I haven't met in a while. So yeah, Ghana is more fun than here. There's no winter.
Right.
I don't like winter. So yes, I felt sad leaving. I still want to go back.
Right.
There's a question here in the chat. Chat. What is the infrastructure like in Ghana? What's the weather? Oh yeah, the weather is great. It's summer year round. So, if you like sunshine, if you like it warm, it's great. It can get too hot, I'll tell you that. But you can always go inside or sit under a tree. With regards to the infrastructure, it's like everywhere else, you know, it's very frustrating when you come here and everybody just keeps talking about Africa and animals. I honestly, I had never seen a giraffe until I went to Indianapolis Zoo. My husband, who grew up in rural Ghana, had never ever seen a lion in his life until we went to a zoo in Philadelphia. So there are no animals roaming the streets of Africa. You know, I just want to put that out there.
Right.
But it talks about animals and it's just very frustrating.
Well,
Africa is so big. There might be parts that, you know, that might have a lot of animals, maybe like East Central Africa, which I haven't been. But West Africa is very, very, it's very, very urban, you know? So there's like here, you have like the big cities like Chicago, you know, not as big as Chicago, obviously. And then there's small towns, but even in the small towns, there are no animals roaming the streets. So I just need to put that out there. The roads, there are good roads in the cities. That we have electricity in most places. It's not always on, you know, just like with most other developing countries. Sometimes the lights are off just because the electricity system doesn't work right. But for most, in 365 days a year, maybe you will lose lights, maybe 50 days or 60 days a year. So, you know, it's not always on, but you have electricity, you have running water if you live in the city. There's a lot of infrastructure. I showed my college to my niece right here. She was like, oh my God, that is so big. My college that I went to was not like this. So yeah, the infrastructure is great. The weather is great. People are really nice too, so.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, they do the same thing with us. When we were growing up, the kids would come to us. So was your dad a snake charmer or something stupid? But then now they do the same thing in a good way. Like one time, a few years ago, one of my students saw me passing by and he came to me and said, Dr. Nizumuddin, do you know how to solve this calculus problem? And I told him, just because you see somebody is Indian, you just assume that I can solve calculus? And guess what? Alhamdulillah, I was able to, but that's not because of my genes. It's because of, I just enjoyed it, you know? So Sister Amina, you had a question?
Yeah, assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I really love all the insight you gave us and a lot of things I learned that I didn't know. Do you recommend any books for kids or videos or anything that would help us to see better what the culture of Muslims and what it is in Ghana so we can all learn and appreciate it better?
Good question. I actually have a children's book that I wrote. So yes, I will. I wrote a children's book.
Wow.
So I was just born. I was born, so I have a children's book about, you know, growing up in Ghana. So I can share that with you, Amina. I have your WhatsApp. I think in general, like if you go on Amazon, you know, there are a lot of people who get frustrated with, you know, people just not knowing. So if you do decide to find a book on Ghana on Amazon, just pick one that's written by like a bona fide Ghanaian, you know, so for sure you'll get the right information. Or just the local library. I've seen some really impressive books at the local library too. I think it's good to read about other cultures. I read a lot about other cultures growing up, and I think it just opens your mind.
Right, absolutely. So what is the title of this book? I would love to share it with the whole community.
You know, what's the title of the book I wrote? A name for Ladi's baby sister. I will send the link.
That would be great. Yes. That would be so cool. Oh, that would be wonderful. What prompted you to write a book? Just you wanted to share your story, or?
No, I think Nana kept asking what like. I was trying to explain the concept of a naming ceremony, an Islamic naming ceremony to her when she was younger. She didn't seem to get it. So I decided to, you know, just write a book about it.
That's fantastic. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. In one of my classes, this is the comparative politics course, we read Things Fall Apart, which captures Nigerian culture. But the wonderful thing about that book about Echebe, the wonderful thing is that it examines the introduction of Christianity, how Christianity completely transformed that traditional society in Nigeria and other parts of West Africa. Yeah. So good book, by the way, Things Fall Apart.
Oh yeah, I read it a lot. Mhm.
Yeah. Wonderful. Any other questions for Dr. Rukayya?
Was it hard getting used to American culture?
Was it hard? That's a good question. That's really a really good. I don't know. I feel like I'm so Americanized now. That's a good question. Okay, so I would say some parts were hard and some part not so much. It was frustrating for people to not understand me when I have studied English since I was 2 years old.
Mm.
That was frustrating. You know, I knew English, I just spoke it different. And people wouldn't understand what I said. And it was just frustration because I've studied English since I was like 2 years old. So, you know, why don't people understand me? I had to change my accent for people to be able to understand me. So that was frustrating. The food, we still eat African food, but you know, it's gotten better. The food was, you know, everything was too salty or too sweet. The weather I didn't like. I still don't like winter. But overall, I think, you know, it's not been a bad experience. I think in general, people are willing to get to know you if you're willing to open yourself up to them.
Whenever I take my students to New York, we go to Harlem to try West African food, especially Gambian food and Senegalese food. So chebu jin, chebu yak, chebu ganar, these are traditional African dishes of Senegal and the Gambia. Amazing. They really appreciate the diversity in food and the different vegetables that are unique to Africa, and the way that lamb is prepared, which is so distinct. You know, it's so delicious, absolutely delicious. So, any other final thoughts? Or Dr. Rukayya, Jazakallah khairan, thank you so much. The entire family, thank you so much for the opportunity to learn from you, and such a wonderful, wonderful family that moved to our community, alhamdulillah.
Thank you so much for having us. We
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
your invitation.
And let's get together as a family, you know, soon enough, hopefully, inshallah ta'ala.
I know.
So,
Inshallah.
Jazakumullah khairan. Thank you so much. Take care.
You too.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. The rest of the students, please go to your respective classes, inshallah, which should start at 6:40. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Allah hafiz.
Alaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum.